Welcome back to Simple Truth, where we're trying to pull some simple truths out of the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 23, the story of David. We are in verse 16. So David's been running around trying to keep his men alive, right? Keeping out of the hand of Saul. In verse 16, then Jonathan, son of Saul, left and went to David at Horesh, and he encouraged him through God. Now, isn't this funny? Saul is constantly pursuing David, can't find him. But his son Jonathan goes right to him, knows where he is, right? It's amazing. God can bring the right people at the right time, right? He can find us when nobody else seemingly can find us. Right? He sends the right people to do what? To encourage David. Right? To encourage him in heart. And this is what he says. He said to him, don't be afraid, for the hand of my father Saul cannot find you. You will rule over Israel, and I will be your second in command. Even my father Saul realizes this. Right? So again, how does he encourage him? He reminds him of the promise. He reminds him of truth. Do you need to be reminded of your promises? Do you need to be reminded of truth today? I do, all the time. Right? Do you need somebody to walk up and say, like, hey, just so you know, even this person knows, right? This person knows what's going on here. They know what's happening, right? This is important. Why? Jonathan is Saul's son. He could have turned him over at any time, could have brought his dad with him, right? But instead, Jonathan is seeking God and being used by God. This is a voice that David will listen. Listen, you can look around and here's what it looks like. But the reality is God is positioning you for what he has for you. It's not just about giving you what God has for you. It's positioning you to take it. One of the most important things about the promised land was that God said to the Israelites, I'm going to give it to you piece by piece so that you can inhabit it. Otherwise, thorns and thistles, right, and weeds and animals, they're all going to take it over. But we have this idea that we can take whatever God has for us and we can simply just have it. God doesn't want you to have things. He wants you to inhabit those things and inhabit them in such a way that the enemy, right, doesn't have access, can't ruin it. And so in order to do that, he has to position us, right, with the right way, the right moments, the right resources. All of those things have to happen. And so Jonathan comes to David and says, I know what you might be seeing all around you. That's my paraphrase. But here is truth. Even my father knows that the kingdom has been given to you. God's going to be with you. He's not giving you into the hands of my father. Do you know what it's like to live day in and day out with that kind of a thought process that somebody's going to give me? Is today the day that Saul's going to kill me? Is today the day that... Right, that's not where we want to be. And some of you are probably living like that, whether it's the workplace, right? Whether it's at home, whether it's at your church, whether it's in the fun, or like you're just waiting, right? You're just waiting and waiting and waiting. What if God says it's not going to happen? I can remember coaching soccer, right? And you're in basketball and different things, and you're always waiting. After every game, you're waiting for the parent to come up to you and complain because their kid didn't get enough playing time, didn't do this, didn't do that. But you're waiting for someone to get you. And what if God came up before every game and said, don't worry about that. They're not going to get you. I mean, even if they try, they're not going to get you. Right? That's an important thing, that if we're walking with God, God says, even if it looks like, even if they put their hands on you, even if you have the tough conversation, they're not going to get to you. They're not going to get you. Right? So again, we don't avoid all of the things. Right? God just says it's not going to happen. They're not going to take you down. Right? So you can go to work every day with the confidence of you're not being taken down until God wants you to be taken down. And then you can't be saved if God wants you taken down. So look at your situation, whatever you're going through, the things that you're worried day in and day out, financially, right? All those kind of things like, hey, I'm just waiting every day for the enemy to get me. And God says, you need to be reminded that the enemy isn't going to get you. You don't have to live with that fear, right? That I have you, that you are going to get the promises that you have asked for. So think about that. We'll see you right here next time. Simple Truth.